Recognize the member for Skeena.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I take my place in support of this motion, following the member for Caribou-Chilcotin and her very astute comments that she made. Look, here's the thing. If indeed what the BC Liberals have been saying this morning is correct insofar as all the wonderful benefits of the smart meter program, then surely this could have gone before the BC Utilities Commission. That is the body that's actually put here to create independent oversight for something like the expenditure of $1 billion of ratepayers' money. $1 billion, Madam Speaker. Not 100 million, not tens of millions, $1 billion. If all of these reasons for having the smart meter program were so good, then surely the BC Utilities Commission would have come to that conclusion and would have said that this was a worthwhile expenditure. The fact is, this government chose to take an end run around the BC Utilities Commission. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that the BC Utilities Commission wasn't even given the opportunity to hear all the arguments, pro and con, for this expenditure? I would suggest to you it's because most of these arguments make no sense whatsoever, Honourable Speaker. Now, in my riding of Skeena, Honourable Speaker, here's what has happened since this smart meter program has gone in. People have contacted my office with claims that their bills have gone up not by $50 or $100, but they've gone up by 300%. 300%. And of course, what does BC Hydro say? Oh, well, maybe the customer suddenly put in a hot tub. Yeah. Or maybe the customer got rid of their old wood stove and suddenly decided to have baseboard heating put in. Now, do you honestly think that people would be contacting my office if they had done something like that? People aren't stupid out there, Honourable Speaker. People are smart enough to realize that many of these smart meters, unfortunately, are not so smart. In fact, they don't work. And the government and BC Hydro has already admitted this. I believe at least 1,000 meters have had to be pulled out because they were faulty. So much for them being super smart. They were faulty, 1,000 meters across British Columbia. And we don't even know if that could just be the tip of the iceberg, because as more and more complaints come in, the Minister of Energy responsible for this said in the House a couple of weeks ago that if people have bills in their constituency from their constituents that seem a little bit odd, to bring them to him personally. Well, you know what? We shouldn't have to be bringing bills from our constituents to the Minister of Energy and Mines, right? We shouldn't need to do that. This program should have been properly thought out. It should have been worked out beforehand, decided whether it was in the interest, the public interest of the people of British Columbia, and then it should have been brought forward. Instead, what we've got is constituents who are very upset. And let me explain, Honourable Speaker. There are constituents who, when they make complaints, are told that it's going to be looked into, okay? But in the meantime, they're supposed to pay their bills, or they're threatened with their electricity being cut off. It is fundamentally wrong to go to a senior who is on a fixed income, or go to somebody who has a family and is trying hard and struggling to pay their own bills, to suddenly say that some erroneous $400 or $500 electricity bill has to be paid while BC Hydro looks into it. That is fundamentally wrong, Honourable Speaker. You know, Honourable Speaker, you have to think about why it is that the government has chosen to take an end run around the BC Utilities Commission. We've seen hydro rates increase 36% in the last couple of years here. Okay? We once had, by any means, the cheapest electricity rates, but we've seen them increase quite distinctly in the last little while. Why is that? Well, in part, of course, it's to pay for some of the failed policies of the Clean Energy Act of this government, because what they have done is gone and bought power, which not necessarily that we needed, at very high rates, and we're selling it at even cheaper rates. That's why we have to have smart meters come in, so in the future they can perhaps gouge our citizens even more by coming and using time and use billing. And, Honourable Speaker, what is time and use billing? If you're a family and you come home from school, you come home from work, needless to say, you're suddenly going to have greater electricity use. The kids are home, the heat's on, whatever. You know, you're going to make supper, you're going to have to do laundry. People are not going to be able, once they find out what time of day they're using electricity, it's not like they're going to get up in the middle of the night and start doing laundry. Families have to function as they do. So really, time and use billing is not going to help our citizens. But that's the reason why long-term, I think, why this has been brought in. I want to make one last point, Honourable Speaker. The Northwest Transmission Line in my area, which originally had a... Oh, I see I'm out of time.
Thank
Don't
you,
worry, there'll be
member.
lots more time to talk, Honourable
Thank
Speaker.
you, member.